What is up, Chess YouTube? Now, if you're watching this video, you are likely between 500 and 1,500 ELO in online chess, and you're probably also stuck at that same online rating. And you probably also have this question, which I've seen over and over again in my free community and with my free coaching clients. The question is, how do I punish weird moves by my opponent? And I'm going to answer that with this anonymous blitz game I just played online on Elite Chess. I sometimes play on Elite Chess. When I do, it's usually anonymous. So this was a recent anonymous blitz game, and my opponent played some weird moves, and I'm going to show you exactly step by step how to crush them. And if you don't have 10, 15 minutes to watch this video right here, I mean, just forget about it, because I cover exactly how to punish weird moves in the game of chess. And trust me, you're going to want to watch this video to learn the ideas. All right, in the game, I opened 1d4, and then black goes for the move knight to f6. From there, I go c4. That is my main move. And now here, black goes c5. And now, personally, what I've seen online, when you go for these d4, c4 openings as white, maybe 60-70% of the time when black goes for a weird line, it's almost always some form of these c5 lines, the benoni systems, whether it's the modern benoni, the Benko gambit, the snake benoni, the check benoni, and so on. This is black's absolute favorite way to get a weird position, at least in online chess, against 1d4, c4 openings. Now from here, I go d5, my main move. Black goes d6. So far, so good. I go knight c3, and here the main move for black is going to be e6. The point being, you take on d5 and so on. But black instead goes knight bd7. So black here already playing a weird strategy. Again, the main idea here after d5 is just e6, taking on d5 and so on. But black instead going for this weird strategy. So to answer the question, what do you do when your opponent plays weird moves that aren't necessarily good? It's very simple. You should have systems built out in your chess openings that you play for white and black. And what you do, you just follow the system. It's that simple. So what do I mean? Well, when black goes for these delayed e6 benoni systems, my system is I go c4, d5, knight c3 like this. Then I go e4, and then usually bishop e3 and h3. Then knight f3, bishop d3, castles, and so on. And if I make it that far, I have very simple pre-built out plans for the middle game. So let's see what happens. e4, a6. Black, again, playing something weird, trying to go b5. No problem. a4, clamping down on that square. Whenever black goes a6 in this system, I go a4, regardless of when black does it. a6 is met by a4. Simple chess. All right, black, g6. Again, black delaying the e6 move. Now, black's main idea is to try and confuse me. If he can confuse me, maybe he can get a playable game. But fortunately, I'm working on my free opening course available at my school community, and I've been studying these benoni systems for black, and my system with bishop e3 and h3 pretty much shuts down black's ideas. So let's see what happens. Bishop e3, bishop g7, h3. Again, just going for my system. Very simple. Black castles, I go knight f3, and so far so good. And by the way, guys, I do want to show you real fast. If black goes for the King's Indian defense, the line I like as white, you're going to recognize this, is h3 and then bishop e3. This line is absurdly strong right now. I love playing this line. And by the way, if black goes c5, I go d5, reaching a position that is almost identical to the one we got in the game. So number two, your systems should be as similar as possible across these different openings. That way, if your opponent plays a weird move, transitioning from one opening to the other, you still get a position where you know exactly what you're doing. All right, back to the game. After c5, let's just blitz through these moves here. Again, I'm getting my same system here against the benoni, the King's Indian, and so on. So castles, knight f3, queen c7. Again, black, he's not going e6. He really has to do that to get any form of counterplay. So what is black doing? Well, black is making weird moves. Again, moves you likely see in your online games over and over. And what do I do when black plays this weird move, queen c7, which doesn't really put any pressure on my position? Well, I follow this system. Bishop d3, followed by castles. Now, so far, we're 10 moves in. I literally have not thought at all in this game so far. It's a 3-minute blitz game. I blitzed out all my moves. I literally have not had to think at all. I just play my pre-memorized system, and I get a fantastic position. It's that easy. Now here, black goes 95, trying to get some form of counterplay. Now, maybe that was the idea behind queen c7, supporting the e5 square indirectly, and therefore setting up 95. However, unfortunately for black, I know in this system, whenever black goes 95, I just take there, and then in the future, I can go f4. That is the entire idea of my setup. And actually, this knight on f3 is sometimes actually goes to d2 to facilitate f4. So black going 95 actually helps me, not the other way around. So what do? I follow my system. The rule is, in this opening, when black goes 95, I just take it like this. And then I castle. We're 12 moves in. I still have not had to think at all in this game, and I'm getting a completely dominant position. All right, black, bishop d7, trying to maybe go b5. We'll see what happens. Now here I go f4, gaining space like this, a pretty good move. Now what does black do here? Well, black goes knight to e8, retreating. Now here's a good question. Do you go f5 or do you go f takes e5? Well, if you capture on e5 like this, that is a mistake, because then black can recapture like this, and it's kind of hard to really get anything going on the king side. Now, fortunately, I knew with my system that here, when black doesn't take, you just go f5, and 90% of the time, that is the right move, unless there's some immediate tactic on e5, but typically, this is the right move. All right, we are 14 moves in. I have not thought at all. And no, these were not memorized moves. I did not memorize when black goes queen to c7, I do this. I just know my default plan is bishop e3, h3, knight f3, bishop d3, castles, move this knight, go f4, and so on. And it's just all falling into place. All right, now, what does black do here? Knight d6, a good square for the knight. Now, this is the first point in the game where I actually had to think a little bit. Now, the computer says, well, I should play perhaps, queen to d2 to f2 or something else, kind of slow playing things. Instead, I go g4. My thought was, I'm gaining space. This looks good to me. It's not the strongest move, but to me, it looks solid. All right, now black, rook a b8, threatening b5 ideas. I go a5, clamping down on that square. If black goes b5, I take en passant, very simple. And that is what happens. So, b5, a takes, queen takes. Now here, I make maybe the first real mistake of the game. I go knight a4. Now, this looks logical. You're pressuring the queen. You're pressuring c5. You're defending b2. What's the problem? Well, the problem is black can just take the knight, and black's actually doing kind of okay then. Instead, the move for white is rook to a2. You just defend there, and beyond that, you can pressure pawns like c5 and so on, and white has a fantastic game. For example, maybe you go queen to d2 to f2 and rook to a1 and so on, pressuring a6, and white has a very, very, very easy game. Now, instead, I go to a4, and fortunately, black does not punish this move. Fortunately, black goes queen to b3. Now, this move is a massive mistake, and from here, I just get a winning position. I take on c5. It's a free pawn. This pawn is also going to fall sooner or later. Black takes on d1. I take back. Now, the bishop is under attack. Black goes back. Now here, I just defend b2. Rook d b1 is the move. Black goes rook b4, trying to get counterplay. I go b3, defending this pawn. And again, renewing the attack on the pawn on a6. And black goes rook b8, and I take on a6. And I'm going to be honest, the rest of the game is not as interesting. I will blitz through, the moves here, but overall, it's kind of just me getting an avalanche of pawns moving down the board. By the way, black was threatening to win the bishop. I did catch that. You always got to watch for these tactics like that. But from here, it's just completely winning for white. I'm pressuring the diagonal. And here, black actually just tapped out in the game, as you can see right here by the little crown signal. So, overall, what is the big lesson we're learning from this? It's that middle games are an extension of the openings that you play. If you know how to play the opening, including the plans, you will know how to play the middle game. And if your opponent makes some weird moves that don't put any pressure on you, for example, black here, in this position, black really should go e6 or b5, something like that. Black doesn't do that. Instead, black goes d6, followed by putting literally zero pressure on me. So from here, I follow my system, which is e4, h3, bishop b3, knight f3, bishop d3, castles, and from there, potentially moving this knight and then going f4. That's my plan. And black here does nothing to stop it. So black doesn't go a6, I go a4. But overall, black is not really stopping me from using my system. So I just do everything I'm doing, castle, go f4, and I get a great game. It's really that simple. So when your opponent plays weird moves, if you have systems built out, I'm not talking about memorizing all of these long, complicated moves. Trust me, I did not have, what do I do if black goes queen to c7 on move 9 here mapped out? No, I just know if black does not pressure me, this is the move. That's kind of all you need to know. So personally, I love playing system-based openings. For example, as white, I love going d4, then c4, and no matter what black does, it kind of feels like I'm playing a similar sort of game. As black, for example, if we flip the board here, if white goes d4, I love going for the Nimzo QGD, and if white goes knight c3, I go bishop b4. If white goes knight f3, I go d5, and then if white goes g3 or knight c3, I also go bishop b4. So no matter what white does, I'm getting my bishop on b4. I'm getting positions where I kind of know what I'm doing regardless of what the opponent can throw at me. So in my opinion, learning system-based openings, oops, that was not what I intended to do. But overall, in my opinion, these system-based openings, whether it's d4, c4, whether it's the London, where you always go for the pawn triangle, whether it's, let's say, the Italian opening, where your plan is basically against almost no matter what the opponent does, d3, c3, castles, then maybe knight bd2, rook e1, knight f1, knight g3, and so on. If you can learn these system-based openings, it makes playing the middle game so much easier. I mean, so much easier, because when your opponent plays some weird random move that you're not ready for, you just play your system and you get a fantastic game without really having to think that much. Now, if you are a super grandmaster, if you're Magnus Carlsen, if you're a future world champion like Hans Niemann, then sure, you can play any opening you want. You have all the time in the world to prepare. You're a full-time chess player. You can memorize as many openings as you want. So at that point, learning system-based openings isn't as important. But for us mere mortals, for us amateur players trying to get better online, system openings is by far the way to go. So if you want to learn system-based openings like I teach, I am building out a course showing you my entire opening repertoire for white and for black. Literally every opening I play as white and as black will be covered. All the main lines, all the side lines, everything I do. If you like the way I personally play chess, I'm building out literally a free course with videos, PGN files, and whatnot. Everything you would need to know to play my openings. So check it out. The link is down below in the description and in the pinned comment of the video. So check it out. It's totally free. No catch. No strings attached here. So that is all for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that like button and comment down below what you thought. And as always, I wish you the best of luck in your chess improvement journey in 2025 and beyond. And I'll see you in the next video.